Hello, my name is Lauren and welcome to my channel. So you may not think about it, but there are actually positives about being blind. I know, it's kind of crazy. I think most people think about the negatives all the time, about how terrible it would be to lose sight, or how terrible it would be to not be able to see the people around them or watch Netflix all day. But there are actually so many positives, and in fact, blind people can watch Netflix, just throwing it out there. So I thought I'd just provide some kind of positives because I don't think it gets talked about enough. I think people focus a lot on the negatives, and I think it comes from a place of not knowing, and a place of just having not experienced it, and that's okay. I'm not mad dogging people for not understanding what it's like, because if you haven't lived it yourself, you won't know what to expect. So here I am with some tips, or not tips, what am I saying? With some positives about being blind. So these are in no particular order, and some of them might sound a bit cheesy, but I promise you, once you hear them, you'll be like, oh, I can see that. So the first one is that being blind kind of gives you a new perspective on things, and you're like, oh my God. But seriously though, I am more empathetic towards others because I have dealt with things that most people haven't dealt with. And so I'm able to sympathize with people better and understand people better, and just I'm able to put myself in their shoes and understand their perspective. So in that sense, I'm able to relate to people more. And because I can't see very well, I'm also able to experience the world in a different way, from a different perspective, because my world is made up of messed up vision, my sense of touch, and my sense of hearing. And of course you have smell and taste, but for me, it's more about the hearing and sense of touch. So in that way, yes, I do experience the world in a different perspective, and I think that makes me unique. And I think it's a positive because most people wouldn't look for textures the way I do, or hear music the way I do, or hear people's voices the way I do. And I actually think it's kind of cool. Like, if you stepped one day in my life, if you took a day in my life, you would be surprised of the things that I hear and the things that I experience. And you'd be shocked of the way that I have to do things and how different I approach life. And I think that's a cool thing. I think it's definitely a positive. Yeah. So the second thing is that there is this huge community, which is really shocking because blindness is kind of I wouldn't say a rare thing, but there's not a whole lot of blind people compared to, the sighted population. We're fairly small and we're fairly spread out, but surprisingly, we are strong. There's a lot of us, even though we're smaller than the average population, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And so we're able to form these huge Facebook groups full of tons of people, and we're able to share experiences, and we're able to go to camps, when we're younger, and we're able to have all these conferences and just build each other up and share our experiences so that we can help others. And I love that about being visually impaired, is that you're connected with this whole network that you wouldn't think existed. And that is really, really special. I've met some of my best friends through different camps for the blind and different Facebook groups and different networks. It's been really amazing. And it's brought me closer to people that I never would have met had I been visually impaired, or had I not been visually impaired. It's given me experiences that maybe you wouldn't have had otherwise. I've gotten to go to some really cool places and done some really cool things that most people haven't done in their lifetime. So that is really amazing. And if you want to hear stories about camps and conferences and things like that, you can put that in the comments and I will do a video on that. But yeah, that's really amazing. The third thing is that I read a code that most people don't know. So I read what's called Braille, and it's a system of raised dots that allow blind people to read and write. So basically we can read off of this thick paper. It's like almost like cardstock. and there are dots arranged in different patterns. And they symbolize words and letters and numbers and even music. There's even Braille music out there, and it's really cool. There's even different languages within Braille. Braille itself is not a language. Think of it like cursive or, you know, just a different style of writing, even though it doesn't take the form of ink on paper. But if I can find a picture of Braille, I will stick it up here somewhere and you can check it out. So that's really cool. And along with that, I'm not going to put it as another positive, but along with that, I can read in the dark. Yeah, I don't need a lamp. I don't need some kind of special technology. If I've got a Braille book in front of me, I can just read in the dark, read in bed, and read a book while I fall asleep. So yeah, that's kind of fun. What are we on now? Number 4? Number 4 is that if I choose to, I can have a dog with me wherever I go. Now, let me give you some disclaimers. Guide dogs are meant to work. They are working dogs. So even though it is a companion, it's more of a safety thing and more of a guide rather than a companion when they're working. But you still get to have, you know, man's best friend right next to you everywhere you go, and you still get to, I don't know, interact with them and, you know, have that companionship. And then when you go home and you're not working, you get to snuggle them and just be with them, and, you know, they turn into a normal dog. So it's kind of cool. You get to have your partner in crime all day, you know, when you're at home and you're not working, and then you harness them up and you're working together. So that's really cool. And it's an independence factor, you know, it's a whole new way of getting around. So that's a positive. I choose to not have a guide dog right now because I'm going through college and I'm at home right now. So I don't personally choose to have a guide dog, and I can go through that in another video if you'd like. But I did talk about my multitude of canes in one of my videos. So if you're curious to know why I have so many canes, I have 6. Let me know and I'll do a video. So yeah. Number 5 is that I don't have the ability to judge people by their appearance. So often it's hard for a lot of people who have sight to not judge people by their appearance. Like, even if they're the least judgmental people in the world, everyone falls victim to judging at some point. And although I do have a bit of sight, I don't have enough to be able to judge your appearance. So you could be the ugliest person in the world, and I really don't care, because what I'm looking for is, are you a genuine person? Are you kind? Are you going to be good to me and the people that I'm around? And I think that's a blessing, because if I had sight and I had the ability to judge people based off of their appearance, I don't know if I would be shallow or not, to be completely honest. There's definitely a shallow side in everyone, and I'm lucky enough that I don't have to judge people based off of their appearance. On the flip side, though, it's also one of those things where, you know, you kind of want to know what people look like around you, and all you have to go on is what people tell you. So there is a flip side, but I think generally it's a positive, because I can just be genuine, and I can just see people for who they are and not who they appear to be, and that's awesome. So I'm doing some editing, and I just wanted to pop on and say that there are always going to be negatives. There are always flip sides to everything. So where there is a positive, there is also a negative. And if you're curious about the negatives of being visually impaired, I will do a video for you. There are struggles. Let me tell you, being blind is not easy. It is not a walk in the park. I think so often people overlook the positives and they look at the negatives so often. So I just wanted to make a video to show that there is a positive side, but I also don't want to negate that it is a struggle sometimes. So please don't think that. And if you are curious to know what the struggles are and how we overcome them, please put them in the comments. Thank you. Anyways, if you want to hear more positives, let me know in the comments. And I don't have a regular posting schedule, so make sure that if you want to see more of my content, to click the notification bell. It's typically somewhere like over here down below. There's the subscribe button and there's the notification bell. So go ahead and click those. And if I can find or figure out how to do the little cards, I will try to put one somewhere up here. I don't know, somewhere here, of the VIP tag that I did. So, all right, I will see you guys for another video. Bye.